Hello and welcome to Grant's Line TV with me, your host Aaron. And today we're going to be looking at a split. And I don't think I've done any splits on this channel yet. If I have, I don't remember. But it's one that you've come to see every day in the background on this here channel. Oh yes, we're talking about that bad boy right there. Morbosidad and Perversor. Look at that Chris Moyen artwork there as well. Oh yeah. Get a closer look at that. See, look. This is what I like about Chris. Look at the moon. It's just squiggly lines. It's all working out. Look at that. He's pulling his cock out the back of Jesus there. Look. Jesus loves it. He's all about it. So, music-wise, let's get into this. And this, the title, of course, is Invocaciones Demoniacas, I believe. Ah, close. Invocaciones Demoniacas. Oh, it's close. Not bad, is it? Not bad at all. Now, lyrics-wise, most of these are in Spanish, but you can pretty much tell that it's usually about, blasphemy, Satan, demons, hexes, black magic, that kind of thing going on. A lot of that happening. My Spanish is very limited, but I can read enough to sort of be like, oh yeah, I know what that's about. But the last three songs on here by Perversor are in English, and they're pretty cool. Now, Morbosidad, who we'll talk about first. Great logo. I love that logo. One of my all-time favourite bands, and we're talking top 10 as well. So, I say that about a lot of bands because there's probably 100 bands in my top 10, but this is definitely a top 10. Like if they said you can only take 10 artists with you and their discographies to a desert island or something, Morbosidad would be on that list. Now, these guys are from California. I believe they're in Texas now, sort of based. They've only got one original member left, which is the vocalist. Everybody else kind of been replaced over the years and whatnot. Now, he sings in Spanish because, he's from Mexico, and he said, he thinks Spanish sounds like the most evil language in the world. So, and I have to agree with him. I mean, I think if someone was to ask me, who do you think is the most evil sounding band? Morbosidad would definitely be in the mix. I mean, I couldn't say 100% for sure who, because, there's just so many out there, but Morbosidad are definitely up there. They don't sound happy by any stretch. And when you listen to that, even with the Spanish lyrics, you can just listen to it and know, this is anti-Christian music, this is satanic stuff. Really, really cool. It's your typical sort of blackened death metal from the US, which has come to sort of be very popular. I mean, maybe these guys popularised it because these guys did start early in the 90s with demos and stuff, but their first full length wasn't until 2000. So these guys are at the forefront, along with sort of Canadian bands, and your Ross Bay cult stuff, your Blasphemies, your Conquerors, your Black Witcheries, Antediluvians, etc. And then, of course, on the other side of the world, over in Finland, you've got your Beherits, your Archgoats, and all of what have you. So these guys there's a lot of homage going back and forth there, a lot of influences that you can really wrap a lot of influences around these guys. Loads of blasting. This is actually quite a grindy release for Morbosidad. They've always had some sort of grind element to their music, the shorter songs, the speed, that sort of punky kind of feel in places. They're not shy about their roots at all. But this is definitely, of the releases I own, I don't own everything, but of the several releases I've got, this is definitely this leans more into the punk and grind sort of element than it does the straight up blackened death, which is awesome. You got, I think 3 of the songs are under 2 minutes, which again isn't anything unusual with Morbosidad, but to have it in a cluster like this on a split, and with both bands, this is not even 29 minutes. So really nice kind of thing going there, 6 tracks a piece. It's always nice to look at that back, but yeah, all very cool. That kind of really cool imagery. And you have to excuse the sniffing. Fucking hay fever today is mental. The pollen count is through the roof. It's mental. Now, on to Perversor. These guys are from Chile or Chile. And like I said, the first 3 songs are all in Chilean, I guess. And then the last 3 are in English. And again, same sort of content matter. You know, demons, end of the world, death, devil, all that. You know, Jesus is a knob. All that kind of stuff. And they're not a million miles away from Morbosidad, but you can tell it's a different band as well. Like, the more this sort of at their side of the EP goes, or it's supposed to be a split full length, I don't fucking know the rules anymore. But these guys sort of lean more towards Archgoat with every single song that goes. Like, particularly their last song on here, which is Obey. It's a very Archgoat sounding kind of track, very fast. There's very few palm mutes knocking about, just ferocity. Those low vocals and growls, but mid as well. You know, they're very sort of, yeah. They definitely try their best to be clear in what they're saying. Actually, for the most part, a lot of the time you'll be reading along with the lyrics, which can be difficult when it's Spanish and you don't, you know. But a lot of it is very sort of, whereas Morbosidad, you can read along with the lyrics and he enunciates very, very well. These guys do their best to a point, but again, it's nice and messy and raw, so it can be forgiven because that's the sound, you know. And both recordings on here are fantastic. You can hear everything clearly, but there's that reverb, the sort of echo. There's that sort of all-round, just dark feel to it, you know, where everything's nothing sounds particularly overmastered, so it's really sort of pounding, just sort of the way black metal should sound. Now onto the release itself. Check out some of the goodies. I mean, you see the poster behind me, that came with this bad boy. Yellow list. There's also a poster for the old, especially this is back in 2010 this got released. Look at that. The old Nuclear War Now Fest Volume 2 from 2010 being advertised, rather. This bad boy, Aries Kingdom album at that time being advertised as well. I like stuff like that, it's cool. But you also get this zine-styled lyric sheet. So this is pretty cool. You know, the more Morbosidad one's got like Bible verses in there that have been torn up and stuff. And then you've got the Perversor side. They've gone for more of a dark, demon-y kind of look, because that's what they kind of do. They feature artwork like this a lot, Perversor. Like I've got their EP, Demon Metal. It's very cool. But what I like about this as well is it's got that centerfold piece of artwork too. And look at that, that is just cool, isn't it? I love stuff like that. A sort of D&D monster manual kind of thing. My boy Jim knows what I'm talking about. So you get all of that niceness. And of course, the way it should be. Black vinyl. Oh yeah. That's right, I'm a pretentious ass. And I don't care. I like what I like. And apparently, I mean, I don't know how true it is, but apparently coloured vinyl don't sound as good as black vinyl, but particularly when it comes to like multicoloured, because it's a bunch of pieces of vinyl stuck together essentially and like compressed together, whereas this is all one piece. Apparently these sound better. I don't know, my hearing is not that good if they do, but it's just good to know, isn't it? So if you're into your death metal and your black metal, but not sort of like black and death metal like Belphegor, which are an awesome band, Behemoth, which they're very hit and miss in my opinion, but you know, but these they're not clean sounding or melodic or anything like that. These guys are just straight up metal. And whenever I think of like what's the most extreme metal going, I think of bands like this. This is just bleeds everything you want from metal records. You know, it's heavy, it's fast. When it needs to go slow, it does. When it's got like those palm muted head banging riffs, you know, they're very utilized. You know, very minimally. So when you do get one of those kinds of riffs, you really notice it sticks out, and you're like, oh yeah, that's naughty. But yeah, these just sound rough, fast, deadly, ferocious, and this is a great split. Gets a lot of play time, and just it should do for you guys too. So Morbosidad and Perversor. This came out on a Nuclear War Now Records of 2010, and it's still an absolute banger, and still a sought after record as well. You know, so get on it with that great Chris Moyen artwork as well, and make that happen. Every metalhead needs to at least hear it, just so they, even if it ain't for you, at least you can be like, well, I checked it out, I saw what it was about, and yeah, I can see why they're an important band, particularly Morbosidad. So, with that being said, I'm going to hit the hay, and by hit the hay, I mean fuck off and do something else. So, have a good day. Again, excuse the sniffles. You have a good one.